You think you'd stand with Socrates against the crowd? You wouldn't. You'd probably vote to kill him. Not because you're cruel, but because the crowd feels safe. And truth never does. Crowds don't think, they flow. They drag you with them. One train, one direction, one mind. You think you choose your path, but look closer. Your feet move with theirs. Same urgency, same pull, same trap. Then it hits you. You didn't choose this train. Your body just followed theirs, before your mind even noticed. This isn't independence. This is obedience. Automatic, silent, practiced. The crowd moves first. You just step in after them. Athens called itself the birthplace of reason, yet it killed the man who reasoned best. Not for crime, not for treason, but for asking questions the crowd didn't want answered. Socrates stood here once, calm, unshaken, facing the very people he tried to awaken. Behind him stood citizens, educated, respected, proud, yet desperate to protect their illusions. So they voted to silence him instead of facing what his questions revealed. Plato watched it all and saw something terrifying unfold. Crowds don't fear lies, they fear truth, because truth threatens the identity they built together. When Socrates questioned them, he wasn't attacking their beliefs, he was attacking their belonging. And people will defend belonging more fiercely than reality. This is why history repeats, why smart societies make stupid decisions, why the crowd punishes clarity and rewards comfortable illusions. It happened in Athens, and it still happens today. Crowds don't choose lies by accident. They choose them because lies feel safe. Truth isolates you. It separates you from the group. Truth demands courage, responsibility, independence. Most people don't want that. Lies are communal, shared, warm. They make you feel like you belong. Lies protect identity. Truth threatens it, and people will protect identity at any cost. Truth is heavy. Lies are easy. Crowds choose whatever hurts less. Crowds reward agreement, not accuracy, belonging, not clarity. And they punish the one who breaks the spell. Every single time. It's faster to follow the crowd than to think for yourself. Evolution made it that way. So lies spread, truth stalls, and the crowd calls it wisdom. You think this problem ended in ancient Athens? It didn't. It just changed clothes. Look at any workplace. People agree publicly and doubt privately. Belonging wins. Truth loses. Scroll through social media. You'll see it instantly. People repeating whatever their group wants to hear. Likes become loyalty tests. Silence becomes betrayal. Disagreement becomes exile. Outrage spreads faster than accuracy. Not because it's true, but because it's popular. People defend their online tribe more fiercely than their own beliefs. And if someone speaks clearly, the crowd attacks. Not because they're wrong, but because they're alone. Most people don't want facts. They want reassurance. They want someone to tell them they're still part of the group. So we build echo chambers, not to find truth, but to hide from it. We think we're better than ancient Athens. We're not. We've just digitized the cave. Crowds don't just mislead you. You mislead yourself. And that's where the real danger begins. Everyone carries a story about who they are, but most of that story is built from comforting illusions. Your identity becomes armor, but armor doesn't just protect you, it traps you. It keeps truth out. Inside you is a crowd of fears, habits, old beliefs, all shouting at once. Don't change, you won't survive. So you become selectively honest. You face the truths that don't hurt, and bury the ones that do. You build personal echo chambers, rituals, routines, opinions you never question, all designed to protect your self-image. Because if a belief dies, a part of you dies with it, and most people will do anything to avoid that funeral. So when truth knocks, you attack yourself first. You rationalize, you delay, you pretend not to notice. Everyone thinks the crowd is out there, but the first crowd you must escape is the one you built in your own mind. Plato warned that people prefer lies because lies protect identity. He meant societies, but he also meant you. You can't fight deception until you learn how to see yourself clearly. Truth doesn't start with knowing more. It starts with noticing your own reactions. That split second when you feel defensive, angry, or exposed, that's the doorway. Whenever a belief feels sacred, untouchable, or obvious, that's when it's most dangerous. Ask yourself, who taught me this? Why do I believe it? Who benefits if I never question it? If your answer is emotional, not logical, your identity is doing the thinking. Truth rarely feels comfortable, but discomfort isn't a warning sign, it's a compass. You are not your opinions. You are the one who can examine them. When you separate identity from belief, the crowd loses its grip, and you begin to see clearly. Plato didn't say truth was easy. He said it was possible, but only for those willing to face themselves first. If this moment has reminded you of who you are, and who you still wish to become, subscribe to Timeless Mind by Nicolaus. Each week, we return to ancient wisdom to reset, reflect, and rise with clarity. This is your space, your philosophy, your voice, remembered. Most people never escape the cave, not because they can't, but because they never learn how to walk toward the light. Plato taught that clarity begins not with answers, but with better questions. The first question is brutal. What if the story I'm living isn't true? Every awakening starts in pain. The truth burns before it illuminates. Plato said the brave person isn't the one who knows the truth, but the one willing to face it. The mind must learn to turn away from shadows, from habits, from approval, from identity itself. Freedom isn't the absence of deception. It's the ability to recognize it. When your eyes adjust to uncomfortable reality, everything false begins to fall away. You stop needing crowds to validate your beliefs, and that's when strength finally returns. Plato believed anyone could walk out of the cave if they were willing to question who they've been and who they're becoming. When you stop living for the crowd, something unexpected happens. You finally meet yourself. You no longer need agreement to feel steady. Your clarity becomes your confidence. Arguments lose their grip. Noise loses its pull. You respond, you don't react. You think slower but deeper. You question more and fear less. You say no without guilt because your values aren't up for negotiation anymore. You see your flaws clearly, not to punish yourself, but to grow without illusion. You stop chasing approval. You choose people who respect truth, not performance. You don't need to be right. You don't need to be admired. You only need to be aligned with what is real. Your choices match your values. Your words match your actions. Your life starts feeling undivided. This is what Plato meant. Truth doesn't just free your mind, it frees your life. Here's the trick the ancient Greeks discovered. The moment you learn to question the crowd can no longer control you. Every crowd plays the same game. Reward conformity, punish clarity, protect the illusion. But Socrates had a counter move. Ask the one question the crowd can't answer. Is this actually true? Your brain changes the instant you stop asking, what do others think? And start asking, what aligns with reality? Illusions only survive when unquestioned. One honest thought breaks the entire spell. Your mind becomes immune to manipulation because deception relies on your cooperation. Once you see the game, the incentives, the pressures, the unspoken rules, you can't unsee it. The ancient Greeks called this true freedom, not doing whatever you want, but thinking without permission. When you think clearly, you return to the one place crowds can't reach, your own judgment. This is the ancient trick. Question everything that asks for your agreement, because truth never demands followers, only attention. Once you learn the trick, you start noticing how many people never question anything. You see the patterns, the rushing, the agreeing, the performing. It's everywhere. You watch people defend beliefs they've never examined, with confidence they've never earned. The anger, the defensiveness, the certainty, they're just symptoms of unchallenged identity. You stop being shocked by bad decisions. You understand why crowds choose comfort over clarity. You feel the distance, not superiority, just clarity. A quiet step back from the illusion. You stop competing in games you never agreed to play. You make decisions based on reality, not approval, and life gets lighter. Plato wasn't warning you about the crowd, he was preparing you to rise above it. You don't escape the world, you escape the spell the world casts on anyone who never learns to think for themselves. Once you see the truth, you can't return to sleep. You start noticing what others overlook. Tiny deceptions hidden in plain sight. Your mind stops swinging with the moods of the crowd. You become steady in a world built on noise. You speak less, but with more weight. Your words stop performing and start revealing. You drift away from people who fear truth and closer to those who respect it. You realize belonging doesn't come from crowds. It comes from alignment with your own principles. The ancient Greeks believed a single clear mind can outthink an entire crowd. Now you carry that clarity, and with it, a responsibility to stay awake. You are no longer in the cave's shadow. You're standing at the edge of the light. The question now is simple. Will you protect your clarity or surrender it to the comfort of the crowd? In the end, the crowd doesn't decide your life. You do. Clarity isn't rare, courage is. Now that you've seen the truth, what will you do with it?